Hi guys, Dave here from Black Stump Ballistics, and today we're going to be looking at buckshot. Now, buckshot, as the name implies, is primarily intended for hunting buck or deer, and naturally the pellets are going to be quite a bit bigger than a BB or a AAA or any of the numbered shot we've looked at in previous videos. But buckshot is a little bit different from regular shotgun shot, as we're going to see in the course of this video. Now, much like other types of shotgun shot, buckshot is subject to several different types of naming conventions, and here in Australia, we get both English and American buckshot. Now, both examples I have here today are Winchester, which is American, but we also get Eley Alpha Max, which are English, and many different types of buckshot will also be listed in our catalogues in Australia by both American and English names. Now, the most common type of buckshot here in Australia would have to be 00 Buck by its American name, or SG by its English name. These are both interchangeable, and they're both the same size. They're both a 32 or 33 caliber lead ball, but there are lots of other different types and sizes that we'll get to. So we're going to be starting with this tactical green shell. It is Winchester Active Duty, 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inches. And it's got 9 pellets of 00 Buck, and it's doing 1325 feet per second. Now, we often see buckshot listed by the number of pellets rather than the weight, because it's quite common for buckshot to be alloyed with other metals to make it harder or more aerodynamic. If we are talking pure lead shot, 00 Buck will be 8 pellets to the ounce, but it's often pretty common for it to be sold in 9 pellet shells, which enables it to be stacked a different way. And interestingly, the first thing we're going to see when we open this shell isn't lead shot at all. Now, this white stuff is called buffering, or buffer. I think this type is specifically Grex buffering. And what it basically is this tiny plastic pellets designed to fill out the rest of your shell. And it's going to keep those pellets from bouncing against each other too much, which will keep them nice and round and will keep your groups a lot tighter as I travel down range. Now, the reason why our buffer material is often made of plastic pellets like this is that it's incredibly light and not very dense. So we have 32 grams, so 1 1/8 of an ounce. And we have almost exactly 2.5 grams of this buffer compound. .7 grams over 9 pellets. Now, these 00 Buck or SG pellets are going to be 32 or 33 caliber, and they're going to be about 8.38 millimeters across. Let's check that. 8.27, 8.20, 8.27, 8.33, 8.40, 8.10, 8.11, 8.36, 8.18. As we can see, cutting open this other buckshot shell, there's a lot of spaces in between those pellets. And that's why we have this buffering material. These lightweight plastic pellets, they're about 1 millimeter across, and they're going to fill up all of these spaces. And that means that, when you fire your shotgun, all these pellets aren't going to go bouncing into each other. They're going to travel down the bore of your shotgun in this pattern, and they're not going to flatten out. They're going to stay smooth and round. And in theory, you're going to get much tighter patterns. Now, I don't have any way of testing that just yet, but stay tuned, and I'll try and get some more shells that don't have buffering. Now, as I mentioned before, there are lots of different naming conventions when it comes to buckshot, and we have here some number 4 buck. Now, number 4 buck is smaller than 00 buck. These are going to be about 6mm across. And looking at the box, it's 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inches, and we've got 27 pellets of number 4 buck, and they're doing 1325 feet per second. So the same velocity as those 00s. Now, much like our 00, we've got our buffer, which appears to be just the same. And those pellets look a lot smaller than the 00. These number 4 buck should be about 6.1mm across. Let's check that. 6.06, 6.01, 6.01, 6.05, 6.00, 6.04, 6.01, 6.00, 6.06, 6.00. And by weight, and the weight of 20 pellets is 25.369 grams. Now, of course, there is one more type of shot that we haven't covered in these videos, and that is a solid slug. Now, there are a couple of different types of solid slugs available for both rifled and smoothbore shotguns, but by far the most common type is the rifled slug, otherwise known as the Foster slug. Now, I have here these Federals, Federal PowerShock. They're available in packs of 5 or bricks of 50. And from the side, they look like any other type of shotgun shell. 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inches. They're doing 1610 feet per second. It's a 1 ounce slug, except it's round crimped, unlike most other shells. And there is our slug. It's got these little angled ribs on it, which are there to simulate rifling. As it travels down the smooth bore, it's going to spin, which in theory stabilizes the projectile. Hollow on the inside, so it'll expand to fill your bore, and expand a little bit more as it hits your target. .4 grams, or 1 ounce. And that slug is 18.3 mils across. and 18.05mm long. Compared with those pellets, it's a real stomper. Anyway folks, that just about wraps up this video. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you all learned something. And stick around to learn more about different types of shotgun shot.